So welcome to the Berks County Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in tune. This is Linda Holt and Emily Holt. I'm here with the Holt Sisters. Is that correct? The Holt Sisters.
Sometimes people usually just go the Holt Twins.
The Holt Twins. Holt Twins.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys just have an incredible history as musicians here in Berks County and beyond, from what I understand. Mm-hmm. How did you get started playing music?
I'd say our family was musical.
Mm-hmm.
Our older brother, most people know, is Brian Holt, percussionist with the symphony and the Ringgold Band. I think he's not doing symphony anymore. He's 15 years older. And our older sister played. And we grew up in a house, with all this classical and jazz and wonderful music and folk songs. But we had a piano. We didn't have instruments then. We had a piano, and our mother and our older sister helped us play. We couldn't afford lessons like they had. We won't even talk about what happened there, but we couldn't afford lessons, but we had books. We learned to read when we were 5 years old. So we started off on that piano, and our sister helped us, and it was easy for us, We just picked it up, and then we got some instruments in school, and we wanted to play. You always wanted to play flute, but for some reason I wanted to play clarinet, probably watching the Ringgold Band. And my brother, since I was we even had our names in the paper for a Ringgold Band concert when we were little. Remember? It was funny. I guess because they were twins, or something. Uh-huh. But they gave me a cello because we were at the end of the line. They're like, there's no more clarinets. And I was like, what do you mean? I want to play a clarinet. And she got a viola.
Well, then you need string play.
Because nobody ever wanted to play the string instruments back then, I guess. And I look back on it now, that was really a blessing. That's my direction. Because now I play probably 15 to 20 different string instruments. I love strings. Everything with strings. Mm-hmm. But what if I had that clarinet? I don't know.
Right.
So I had the cello, and we had school lessons that way. And then I switched.
The teacher quit in 6 months, so we only got 6 months.
So then we were kind of on our own.
But they let us keep the instrument, so we kept learning ourselves, teaching ourselves.
Did you play string instruments as well?
Viola.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they gave me a viola.
Okay.
And then I switched to the big upright bass.
Wow.
Because I loved
and then we both were playing that.
And I played that, and then I found the guitar in
somebody's closet.
My neighbor's closet. And it was a piece of junk. And I was like, wow. And he goes, you can have that old thing. I don't want it, And I was intrigued because by that time we were 13 or something. And I took this old guitar. It was missing 2 strings. There was a little music store on Sinking Spring at the time. I walked into the music store. I said, I need 2 strings and a chord book. So that's what I did. And I brought it home and strung it up. Started playing chords. I was playing chords in 2 months, and we were singing and playing it. It came pretty easy. And then we got to be around people like Jim Fegley. A lot of people know, who has since passed. He was an excellent bass player and tune and everything. And
violin maker.
And the violin maker, James Fegley, we're talking about. And Donald Gardner and different people Donald Gardner was a really good finger picker. Then I was interested in picks. So I never used a pick on my guitar because all I wanted to do was finger pick. So no matter what kind of style I'm playing, these are my finger picks. So we had this junk guitar, and once we had that, we were singing together. And Peter, Paul, and Mary was real big, all this stuff, Joni Mitchell and all this, and we started singing all this, and we could harmonize in a way that people weren't used to harmonizing. So we go to school, like Mr. Lechner here, who was a really good choral director. We used to sing Handel's Messiah all the time. We even sang some of the solos in it. And, we started out in a church choir, but when we got into, high school, that was a choir where they had a stage choir. They'd go out to do little jobs and stuff, I guess some of the schools still do it. I don't know. And we were in 9th grade, and we went to audition for a solo. And all the seniors were up there, and I'm like, what do you want to see? How that is, right? So we were kind of nervous. We took that little junk guitar with us.
They weren't in there at the time.
Well, they came in when we sang.
Mr. Lechner told us to sing. We were auditioning he wanted to feature a folk group. And
that's right.
Okay, this is a folk song. Let's go in and audition.
Didn't we sing Sparta's
We sang Sparta's and he sat there.
And we had this particular arrangement.
But he didn't say anything.
And then we thought, because he was real strict.
And he left the room, and then he brought in these seniors who were auditioning.
Oh, right. Then they sat up in the back.
Then they sat in, and they said, oh, forget it. And they walked out, and we're like, what's going on?
And we thought they didn't like us, but then Mr. Lechner said, because he was a vocal teacher, he said, I can't believe this. You guys breathe at the same time. You sing at the, I guess because we're identical twins, we didn't really think about it. We were just always singing. And he's like, that's just amazing. You're breathing the right way and everything. He says, don't ever let anybody teach you how to sing because you got a natural voice. So we're like, okay, you know. Wow. And then he started featuring us. And every time we went around to the elementary schools, we'd sing Spider's Web or Puff the Magic Dragon or something. And then we'd go do professional place like banquets and things, and he'd always feature us singing in the concerts. And then people started getting to know our name, and I think that's why we started getting calls at 14. And I used to carry that junk guitar around him. Our father was killed when we were 14. Mm-hmm. And he used to say, when are you going to make some money with that thing? Mm-hmm. We just shrug it off, And after he was killed, we had our first call for a job, and we started, we think, I guess he sees us,
Sure.
It was kind of strange, but we couldn't even get to the job because our mom didn't drive, so they'd send a taxi or someone would pick us up, because we weren't 16 yet, and then we finally learned to drive, and we could use this little car that Mom got to try to learn how to drive, but still didn't do real well. And we were able...
Can I show this photo?
It's pretty funny. This
is from one of the talent contests that you won.
Yeah, and then so we started getting these little trophies, and people would hear you there, and they'd have them in City Park Band Show, the finalists.
Oh,
That's
wow.
where they had them, And so we were doing stuff like that. Then we started playing professionally on our own, not just with the choir. And then we started getting calls for all these folk festivals and stuff, and people would see us play, I heard you play, and 30 years after we were singing in elementary schools, people would stop me at the supermarket and go, are you one of the Holt twins? And I'd be like, yeah. And he'd go, I learned to play guitar because of you. I'm like, wow, that's great. I heard you play at my elementary school,
Wow.
And I thought, well, how cool is that? Because that's what music's all about.
Right.
It's about sharing your gifts, sharing your talents, and inspiring others. And I do that a lot now through teaching, which is
And when
really
we were
awesome.
in grade school, because we were singing all the time, I started making up harmonies when we were 7 years old.
We were singing
together. And our third grade teacher actually made a cassette tape of us singing together in harmony. And I wish so bad I had that today. That would be so cool.
Yeah, Miss Gelsinger
That
had
would be
taped
neat.
us. And then, this is funny because we joined a show band and we did a show with Tiny Tim. And our mother, when he came to Reading to play, our mother called him, asked if he wanted a home-cooked meal. She made all this, pot pie, homemade stuff, Pennsylvania dish. But he was on a strict diet, and the woman thanked her and said, but he was out there in our dressing room. These are all this is Tony Tallarico, Michael Masser, Kenny Charles. They were all from Reading. We were on the road for a while with them, and we would still sing some of our folk music with them. So then we started doing a little bit of both. These are all things that were in that off the record, and this was a band from
that was
there.
a cable TV show.
Yeah, and so
The
anyway,
guy filmed us. He put the camera on us. They were supposed to do a split shot
that
of
was
both
funny.
of us. And they when the
He
show
didn't know
was
who was
over,
who.
they showed it. Look, this is really cool. We split the screen. This was years ago. This was a big deal.
well, that was when we were in high school,
And
wasn't
we were
it?
both looking at it. Yeah, we're going, no, that's Linda. You didn't split. They couldn't tell us apart, so they both shot on the same person.
Yeah.
They thought that they did something really neat and split the screen.
Yeah,
That's funny.
Isn't that funny though? There's a lot of funny stories when you're twins. Believe you
I
me.
believe it.
People still can't tell us
you
apart.
You are very identical. You have, and you dress the same, so I'm sure.
Well,
it's
every
confusing
time we
for people.
played, we dressed the same. So, 1976, like I said, we had been already on the road because this was, after even college and stuff. And then they called us back, and people still, of course, knew who we were because we were traveling back and forth. We played folk festivals and stuff at universities in Wisconsin and things like that. And so they called us back to do this shot. And then, like I said, it was a big deal because they buried it in a time capsule and they put my wrong name in. It's not my name. All you need to do is change one letter and you change your name, right? Which was also funny because sometimes, now we always had this we just went by the Holt twins. It's 4 letters, right? And we thought, because people said, well, what's your name when you started playing professional? We were 14. We're like, well, we're just Holt. So that's why we kept using it. And we used it for the last 50 years. And one time, across the cable TV, they were advertising. And it said...
Was that the Hot Twins?
They missed the L. I'm like, what? Where'd they get that from? The Hot Twins? Like,
but then the next time they changed it to a Y, and we went from being hot to holy.
But that wasn't a newspaper. It wasn't even this. And that happened in within 3 weeks span. After all those years. I know, how funny is that? We're like, what? How can you mess up that name? It's not like Tony's name, Tallarico. I can see people. Anyway, dumb stuff like that would happen. So when we went to RAC, I think I had some pictures from that. Because we were so into folk music and singing, we started, there's one from the folk, but we started the folk festivals at RAC. It was the first or second year of RAC.
Back when it was in the old grade school building.
It was in the old grade school building. So we turned them into the downstairs rec hall into coffee houses. And it got so popular. We just got coffee and donuts and put candles on the tables. And that's where we really hooked up with the folk music with John Lyons, with Paulie from the Wells Fargo band. Everybody was calling us to play. We were in charge of it because we thought, and the next thing you know, it's like there were 18, 20 people wanting to play in one night, and you only had 15 minutes then. And then we tried to all get up at the end, and Kenny Garrett was in those. And, we got really close with all these people, and it was a lot of fun. So, and then we went on the road, and they stopped. We thought they'd keep having these because everybody was into them, and they wanted to do it. And somehow we came home then after we were on the road that next year, and they're like, you got to come in and do this. We can't do it. I'm like, it's not that hard, So we did. We actually did a folk festival on a week home from being out in the Midwest and all. But they were really cool. And from then on, we played lots of folk festivals and places with Johnny Lyons. We played it. I never forget City Park with him shaking his head around. For that one. And Kenny at the colleges, and my mom would save all this stuff, because that's how moms are, And so, we had pictures, and the fellow that I was talking about finger picking, Donald Gardner, he had a 12-string, and Bruce Stanley, who was the English professor, one of them at RAC there, who we actually knew at my church in Rhombozonia before we went to RAC, wrote all these gorgeous songs. They both had these 12-string Martins. They were amazing. And I was like, I want to go to... I finally got a little Yamaha 12-string, which warped. Jim Fegley fixed it once, and I said, I can't fix it. I never had a good guitar until I've been playing at least 6 years. And then I was like, wow, I can go up and down the neck now. And then I was really having fun finger picking, And so we were playing those folk festivals, and that's, I think... I can think back on, especially Donald picking, and just got this wonderful way to finger pick. Now it's not that fast songs you have to strum, but I really feel like if you don't finger pick an acoustic guitar for something nice, there's just something missing. So we do a lot of that, and then she got this nice flute, so we did a lot of flute. Then when we were traveling on the road, we went in a pawn shop in Indianapolis. Look, what do I know? Let's get something small. I bought this old mandolin for $40. I had a horse's head carved. It wasn't real great either. But I learned to play the mandolin. And then I was in Libertyville, Illinois, and I walked in. I loved the banjo because John Lyons would flail away on that banjo. I loved that old style at the folk festivals, and he was really good at that. So somebody stole his old Vega long neck. We're like, but you got to get another one. Nah, if you know John Lyons, He's so funny. But anyway, I walked down the street, and in the window was this old long neck banjo. I'm like, wow, look at that banjo. And I thought it was just a decoration. And I said, what's that old banjo on the window? He says, that old thing. And I'm like, that old thing? He didn't know what it was. I didn't know about it exactly at the time, but I knew it was a cool old frailing banjo because, he says, some old guy traded that in. He bought a new one. I said, well, would you sell it? He goes, sure, I'll sell that. I don't want it. I'm like, well, what do you want it for? It goes, $50. It was the best deal of my life. I'm like, $50? Wait, I think I can handle it. And that's how I got started on that banjo. It's an old Christie. The fella that taught Bela Fleck to play started out on one of them, which I found out at a Hay Creek concert. We played Hay Creek. He came up and saw it on stage. He goes, wow, that was my first. But he's the only one that really knew what it was, And it's just, I still have it. One of my friends from RAC had to make a case for it, which looks like a coffin because it's made out of wood. It opens. Everybody used to say that, but it took care of it. It kept it nice, and I traveled with it a lot. And I eventually got more of a picking banjo, so I could pick on the picking banjo, and then frail on my frail banjo. So we picked those instruments up along the way, and that's how she learned to play from viola to violin
Because somebody gave us one.
we started playing violin. Then I learned to play violin later on, and we just kept adding on, We'd be going out to play. It was a lot of times flute and guitar, but then we could add banjo or mandolin or, whatever else. And I think I even have a picture of this weird instrument, because this was even before we went on the road. You can't see it real well, but this is a ukulele. And I have this collection of antique stringed instruments. I probably have 30 or more in there. It's part ukulele, part violin, and you bow between the bars.
Between these little...
Oh, wow.
It's 32 stringed instruments.
You strum or pick on one side and bow in between.
And then I had collected one more, and then the last few years I had the coolest instruments that were from the 1800s to the really old. And there's a lot of zithers. So there were fretless zithers, and then there were the real German zithers, and that's the next thing I want to learn to play. But I didn't get time for that, because in between I started picking up dulcimers and the hammer dulcimer and the church organ. Now I'm an organist, It's like, I want to play that zither. I got to get to the... But some of these zithers I can play. I learned to play them right away. And this one, I think because I was 19 when I learned to finger pick it with my left hand. So I had to grow a little bit of nails to get the sound I wanted, and the strings are like this close together. I don't know how I did it. I'm glad I did that when I was young, because, you learn something young, it stays with you.
Sure, yeah.
So we have that, and sometimes we show that. And when we were still in the folk festival, I think we recorded this after Tom Chapin, didn't we?
Yeah.
This is a thing that was funny from the band that we were in.
Well, that was in the Reading Eagle.
That was in the Reading Eagle.
So this looks less folk to me.
This was the band. At the time it was top 40. Now we just do the classic rock, and we do our own originals, which we recorded also. But yeah, these were all Reading, except for Richie.
Kevin Arthur. Well, Richie's from Long Island, New York, but Kevin Arthur's from Reading. Jan Gomber was from the Reading, Berks County, and his dad was a well-known musician too, Jules Gomber.
So where's the Tom Chapin?
So you've recorded a lot of music, is that?
And these are
correct?
our
we have
things?
4
these
of
are the
them.
band things. So we first recorded this. 45.
45.
Good old 45.
Good old 45.
And we made this nice cover because I guess if we would have had a little bit more guidance, we would have realized we should have done a little differently, because we took it around. I took it around myself.
We made it as a demo.
To promote it. It was supposed to be like a demo, so we didn't have it for sale, right? So I took it to all these radio stations, and boy, everybody loved it so much, because it truly is an excellent recording, and it was one of those songs
It was
that just...
recorded in Chicago.
Every
we were
artist
out there.
Every artist will tell you the songs that just flow right out of you, right? Like, boom, they're there, like somebody else wrote them inside your head. It was one of those songs, and it's a beautiful song. Richie had written the music, and we put it together. We recorded it by candlelight. It was just awesome. The whole record was awesome. And I took it around, and all these DJs were so impressed, that they actually played it. And Y102, actually, at the time when I'd taken it down in the 80s, put it in the top 10. Like, I'd wake up, my alarm clock would go off, like, hey, there's my song.
Neat.
Well, the thing was, people then wanted to know where to buy it, but we're like, oh boy, we didn't do that right. So we did get airplay on that station but it was a really good recording. But so by the time we had any money left to try and make money, because the whole time we're doing our career, it wasn't like we had daddies and mommies buy us a guitar or promote or somebody put money. It was all about us. We grew up with nothing, and everything we did on our own, because we didn't have a choice. So I guess I'm kind of surprised we got as far as we got, just like push, go. And that's what you have to do if you want to play, especially today, huh? It's crazier today even. I'm thinking I wouldn't want to be going up in the market these days, because it was just more out there. It was different, way totally different, for not just for folk entertainment music, but we came back then And we had this, and we had our originals. And we
then
did record it.
Then it was a
on
cassette,
this.
which we put onto a CD, of course.
Right.
This
So
is
then-
the folk album, original folk album.
Yeah, these are originals. And then the CDs came out, like, great, we finally got a cassette out. Now we have to put it on a disc. So then we were able to put, that's my daughter, who's on this picture back here. She sings with us now, my first daughter. That's her. That was at
The little baby with our 2 dogs we got on the road, which we wrote
But she's
a song
on the
about.
back here with her 2 dogs. Yeah, there's a song in there. That's her. And then when we recorded this song for our mother, Emily wrote this song. You should tell them this story and tell the whole story because it's funny. Uncle Wiz is in it and what she thought she heard.
we did. We recorded that song.
It's called My Mother's
Part
Love.
of this album was recorded out north of Chicago. Part was famous Uncle Wiz around here. James Hodge.
Wizard. Everybody calls him the Wizard.
I've heard of the Wizard.
We call him Uncle Wiz. So I wrote this song for my mother one night. I called My Mother's Love. I always said I wrote it in a dream because I woke up, I picked up my guitar, I never changed a note, I never changed a word. It was just,
Yeah, it was
that's
another
what
one of those, you know.
So then when her oldest daughter, she was 10 months old and I was watching her, she was up in my room, she was actually looking at a picture of me, and she goes, and she talked really early. And so she's 10 months old and she goes, Mama? Mama? And I mean, it was really
just the way
clear.
she said it was really cute.
Well, this light
Mama.
bulb went off, so I just grabbed this, and it was just a cassette recorder, and I taped her. So when we went to the studio to record this song for our mother, I wrote a flute part for my older sister, and we had a brother come do some percussion.
Yeah, because we had to have the whole family.
The
all
idea
our
is to
kids
have
on
all the
it.
kids playing on it, and then her little granddaughter comes in the very end of the song going, Mama.
Yeah, when it ends, it's adorable.
And
Some
I
people
think-
cry when they hear it.
I think it might have been Dave Klein was the one who played it. Was it EEU?
It was on it.
Anyways, it was around
and Uncle Wiz
here.
was involved with them.
It was Mother's Day.
James Hodgkins.
And we had them play it on Mother's Day, and they
But
made
we
us.
were in the Midwest.
We
when
were
they
in
did
the
it. We weren't even
Midwest,
home.
recording the rest of the album. But we thought this would be a great Mother's Day present. This is so exciting because they played it all Mother's Day on the radio, and they were making a special dedication to her.
Aww.
So we thought, wow, this is going to be so great. So we were all excited that day, and we waited till the afternoon. We called her up. We said, did you listen to the radio
you hear it?
station? And she goes, yeah, but why'd you want me to listen to that ball game? Oh my God.
She had the wrong station on.
station.
She got them mixed up. We're
So-
like, what? You got the wrong
Oh,
station.
no.
I guess it was one of
But
those.
Uncle Wiz recorded that little, so we approved. No, here, Mom. You know,
Uh-huh.
It
he
was
did
one of
say
those.
this for
It's
you.
the thought that counts, I guess. But
Yeah, it's kind of
She
funny.
missed it.
yeah, she missed her special gift.
She seriously missed it. So then there's another song on here, and this is an interesting story too that ties in with another local artist just because he helped record it because he really fit that part. When we were on the road, this was with the show band, there was a poet. And we didn't know who he was doing. It was kind of weird. What's that guy doing? He's sitting out there going like this while we're up on stage.
That was in Missouri, Columbia, Missouri.
Yep, we were in Columbia, Missouri.
He wrote 2 poems.
You could play for a month then, 6 nights a week. You didn't have to move. You know, you'd stay in the hotel and go travel to the next place. You could go visit things and see stuff, you know. Those places aren't around anymore here. But we had a lot of fun doing that. But he came up, found where our motel rooms are when we opened the door, and he's like, yeah, I'm the poet you were talking to. Because I asked him in the club, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm a poet. I'm writing. We're like, oh, okay. He had 2 poems for us. One was called Midnight Blue, because we sang Melissa Manchester's Midnight Blue with this band, and he wrote this beautiful poem about listening to us singing this. And then one was called Lepidoptera, genus of butterfly. And he compared identical twins, which he thought, well, no, that's really fascinating the way he took that, because she was here, I was there, he was listening to us singing, I was thinking about a butterfly, one body, like identical twins come from, one, not fraternal twins, but identical twins, and there's these identical wings. And that's why he wrote this poem.
He said each twin is a wing.
Wow.
And he talked about,
Which is
the
how we
blending
got
of our voices
which is
again.
where our logo came from.
Yeah, so then we
Twin sisters.
yeah, when we
because
started doing the logo.
There's a butterfly, Nick Ford do this artwork for us
Well,
where
I
there's
even have
a
it
face
from,
in each wing.
from the original name. See it on this one?
An image, yeah, we
Yeah.
used it in there too.
So then we had that image made.
So that's
like
where
a
the
twin
butterfly
thing.
came from.
And we did
Idea
put it in
came
here
from.
too then, because then we started using it all the time. So that's why we picked the name Image in the beginning, because it was Latin for, butterfly or something. It tied in, the whole thing tied in, but then everybody else had started using the Image name. I guess it sounded cool. I don't know. The first we were double Image, everywhere Image, and we're like, we got to change our name. Everybody else's Image. Nobody's I mean, we had a reason for it because we were twins, so we couldn't come up with the names. That's why we just started calling Twin Sister.
Because we're actually mirror twins. So.
Yeah. So anyway, when we recorded, I wrote a song then, because we were writing a lot then, and it was a folk song. It's called The Poet, about the poet who wrote the poems for us, and they tie both together. If you read the poems in here, that it really makes sense. But
that's neat.
It was just a neat little folk song. It was pretty, and we did record that at the Wizard Studio. So we called Paulie Vignon, or Paulie Clemens, as he was called, from the Wells Fargo band to come. We were really
We
good
wanted
buddies.
him to sing the part of
And
the poet.
he was
in
the poet.
song.
On the recording. So we just finished the song and recorded it, right? This is going to sound weird, but this is a true story. I always call these not coincidences like everybody, but these are God incidences. It's happened to us so much throughout our life. God incidents. This is another one of those God, and we came home. And Emily goes upstairs. We were in that old Goggler house. And
No, we came through the front door, and our guitar player Richie was watching the
I thought
Johnny.
Nick was watching it.
No, Richie was watching the Johnny Carson.
Well, it was on
show.
Johnny Carson. Good old Johnny Carson.
And as
Yeah.
we walked in the door, the exact moment we walked in the door on the Johnny Carson show was a set of identical twins, and they were little old ladies,
Yeah, they looked like they were about 70
and they
or
were
80 years.
showing Johnny Carson their butterfly collection.
Yeah, they were on
We're
the
like,
Johnny Carson show, identical twins with
Oh,
this
wow.
huge butterfly collection. We're like, what? Are you kidding me? We just recorded this song, That was so strange. I never saw him on TV again either, did you?
Well, that probably was a once and done thing.
I don't know.
And we had John King sing on a song.
I'm looking for
That was on the folk album too,
There it
because
is.
he's one of our favorite singers. He always he calls us sisters in song.
Aw.
He's a good buddy.
So when we went out then to play, and this is in 76 too, like I said, we came home for that album. We played with Tom Chapin. And we got to know him because we played with him like 3 different times, and he was really close to us, and he sent us a really nice card after his brother died. He just wrote the nicest things on that card, because I was really sad when Harry Chapin got killed being a Good Samaritan. Lost a great musician there. And the first time we met him, we were standing on the stage, and he was on the floor. He's really tall. So the next time we played up at Pocono concert with him, and then my daughter that sings with us now was just like 15 months old then, I guess, and she was singing then too. She got up on stage, she was singing out one of Tony's songs, but she met him then, and then when she got a little older, she was probably 2 then, I think. He's still trials around and sings, and he got in a lot of kids' music. He's really good at that, and he's another really great finger picker guitar player too. Very inspirational. And he played up there at the Jewish Community Center in Reading. And so, of course, we had, let's go see Tom. Charmaine can see him again. We wanted her to remember him. And he's like, oh, wow, how you girls doing? And so we took more pictures with him and our little girl and everything. And then at the end of his night, that song, because his brother died, it was really sad. He always sang All My Life's a Circle. The whole family would sing it. And he knew we knew that song, I think, because he heard us sing it up there in the Poconos. And he said, would you girls like to come sing with me? We're like, heck yeah. Sure we would. And we had our own arrangement, but we were always, because I guess we grew up, like I said, with music, but since we were 5, we could sight read anything, sing anything, put harmonies in instantly, so we weren't really afraid at all. And then we just, he called us up, and we went up on the stage in the end and sang that song with him. And I forgot to bring that picture. Someone took pictures of us holding hands and bowing after the song. But we had these really pretty harmonies, and it was really sweet. And we got to sing. Now, I don't think we've seen him. I'm not sure the last time. But that was just one of the things that, stays with you. Like, you have so many memories.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, you have quite the history.
And the memories are never going to go away. And then you try to say this stuff because you want your kids to know stuff. You know, so I'm like, there's Donald Gardner. You can't see it real well. My kids were in here because some of that was from my mom. And then these were band pictures again. I used to photograph a lot of the band pictures. I took this one. I set up my camera.
Liz took a couple.
And walk in, and then there were some he took. And we used to sew all our own clothes. Like, we made these years ago. And,
Neat.
you know.
How did you transition into the kind of more rock and roll?
That's a good question, because we were total folkies, weren't we? And everybody knew us as, like, oh, it's a whole twins of folk singers, and all of a sudden you're playing rock and roll. Well, it wasn't that we never played any other kind of music, but, you know, we started hearing... But we liked the bands like Yes and Styx, and then Heart came out, you know, and then there were some really good bands that had some really good music, you know, not just the basic rock, because I never cared for playing basic 50s. It was, after a while, I don't like the 3/4 chord. I like it, and some of it's really, it's not that it's not good, but I just needed more,
I think
you know.
when we first went on the road, you know, it was a show band, and they were looking for a bass player and a keyboard player.
Right.
And, you know, so...
That's when I got the first electric bass.
The first fretless bass, which was very hard to find back then because they weren't very common, and that's how we kind of got started doing more electric music.
Yeah, we were doing more dance music and stuff.
And Tony Tallarico, that was in that show band in later years, he went to playing folk music, and we did a lot of shows with him as a trio, which he passed now too.
But then we started doing the rock. I could think he was doing more acoustic than he never played with a band after that, like we did.
No,
we put our band together to book through that same agency, and you know, it evolved like over the years. And the rock was really big at the time we were in it, in the early 80s.
Now
we're
just really into the classic rock now. I think I like to keep doing that, and a lot of our originals now turn into rock. That's what this is, the band CD. There's a lot of, and the one song on here, Dorothy, the one rock song that's on here, we won an award for in the Indie Music Channel Awards. We won Best Rock Band for that song. We did win an award for that Where Are We Now song, too, Indie Music Channel Radio.
And that was one of those songs I wrote right out, too, because it was another case where someone was dying that we loved desperately, and I couldn't deal with it, and I just took off and left and went to this campground and met these 3 guys from Philadelphia. And they wouldn't leave me alone. They could tell I was troubled, and I didn't have my gear with me. I'm like, oh, come on. So I started hanging out with them, and they got me smiling, and then we all became best friends. And I got home. Emily was furious. There were no cell phones, you know. Where were you? I'm like, it's okay, you know. This was another God incident for me, you know.
Sure.
And I stood there and I said to Rich, I said, I feel a song. I feel like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, you know, because I met these 3 guys, and if you saw the picture, you'd know which one was which character. They actually, you know,
kind of resemble
them. It was the weirdest thing. And Richie walked in the bathroom. We were in that old Gaga house, and he came out. I said, I got it. He goes, you got what? I said, Dorothy, I wrote the song. He goes, you did? Like that quick? I'm like, yeah, let's go put some music to it. You know?
Wow.
And that was how that wonderful song came about. But we came off of that, when that was really big in the 80s, I had just played with Avery Schreiber in one of my first pit orchestras. And that was fun. It was a 2-month run. I was the only girl in the pit orchestra, because again, girls weren't out playing a lot then, you know, especially bass or whatever. And I really enjoyed it, and then we came home, and that's when we put the band together that played local. We traveled, but we still played local, you know. So then we went out, we saw some bands. We met the old band, they were called Sin, weren't they? They had a female vocalist. Boy, she could sing. And they played Barracuda and stuff. We're like, oh, that would be cool. You know, so we, little by little, started graduating into that. And then the more we played, the more I could dance around with that bass. It was just a whole different
Okay, that's part of my fun whenever we play band stuff, you know. We're playing Renegade by Styx or something, and to what I've never seen, and I'm not saying this because she's my twin sister, but I have never seen anybody dance with the bass the way she does.
I don't know if people stand still playing it.
It's just really fun to watch when, you know, some of those songs to watch her swing the bass around and dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just so fun, you know, having something like that to move with.
Yeah.
I kind of like playing both, but I got back into playing in pit orchestras, and I love that too. So I love every kind of music I play, whether it's singing with my 1st through 4th grade choir, because there you're sharing too, and a lot of them grow up and they go into playing music, or my students, and it's just really awesome that, you can leave a legacy with all your kinds of music to so many people, and the music just continues, because like how anybody says, music's still the universal language.
Sure.
Because we like the old, when we play the folky stuff, sometimes we'll play, we're known for harmonizing and doing Joni Mitchell and things like that, but besides that, in our originals, we like the old traditional folk songs, which we can use a lot of the different instruments on, and that's why we made a traditional folk album, Spider's Web.
Yeah, because we just had those 18th century gowns to play
we have, yeah.
Too bad we didn't have them for that bicentennial.
And we made our Christmas album we made is like a traditional.
Yeah, with the dulcimers.
Based on traditional music
All
too.
the
So we like
dulcimers.
doing that too, but we don't know a whole lot of musicians that go from doing that to playing the rock and roll. So
I don't know if I know any other church organists that play rock and roll. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Probably not. It's kind of weird. One day, though, we played Scenic River Days, and it was the day after we played at the RMC Big Biker thing. We used to play at some of them biker fest with the band, and we had, there you like really get, they love seeing you move around, right? So, of course, you wear different outfits for that. So, we come in this next Sunday, we're at the River Days, and this biker couple comes up, and they're looking at us real funny, and they're going, didn't we just see you last night? And we're like, at RMC, we're like, yeah, that was us. And they're like, oh, well, this is completely different.
So you have many
That was
talents,
funny.
and you can really kind of transform into these different scenes. It's also kind of like a butterfly theme that you're very adaptive.
Metamorphosis.
You
I
can
guess it's kind of like
transform a lot.
actors or actresses take on different roles, right? I mean,
I like playing dress up. I've always been kind of a tomboy, don't wear makeup every day and that kind of thing. But then whenever we perform, it's fun dressing up and putting on
and we
makeup.
always dress alike. We always have a nice outfit. I'll never play in jeans. Like in the folk festival days at RAC, we didn't have nothing then though either, but we had those jeans, and Mom bought us those pretty little tops to wear because she wanted us to have something nice. She was like, remember that's before we learned to sew. We didn't learn to sew until we were out in Wisconsin at that folk festival concert we first played with Tom Chapin, and the young lady that we stayed with was this expert seamstress. She was really good. She was going to college there. She taught us how to sew, and she only had one arm, but boy, could she sew this straight. That machine would fly. And it was so exciting because our mother told us, our grandmother, her mother was such an excellent seamstress. I have her old treadle machine. But my mother never learned to sew because she died when my mother was a little girl. So Mom was so excited when we learned how to sew, and this girl was so inspirational to us that I named my daughter after her. That's why my oldest daughter's name is Charmaine. Plus, it means little song.
Wow.
How fitting, right? I went, wow, it means little song. Isn't that neat? And then I used to say she was the best little song I ever wrote, but I had to stop saying it after I had a second daughter.
Well, thank you, Emily and Linda. This has really been I can tell that your lives have been vibrant and full of, music, and you're just really
can tell
part of
she's
everything
6
you do.
minutes older, right? 'Cause she's the one doing all
I can tell that.
6 minutes older.
Yeah.
We're pretty sure about that, right?
Yeah. Thank you so much for taking the time to share your history with us, and it's
Thanks
really
for
been
having us.
inspirational learning about all that you've done here in Berks County and beyond.
Thank you.
Thanks.